welcome to the Killtocraft Podcast, episode 32. I am Vanessa, your host. All new viewers, welcome. I hope you enjoy the episode and subscribe, like and share away. And to returning viewers, welcome back. And to all of you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, 2017. Kind of missed you at Christmas, but I didn't end up putting a podcast out. I was very tired due to Christmas and I just decided to wait and leave it till I was a bit more on form. So welcome back. It has been a crazy, busy, hectic month. Has December into January for me. So I'll say now that all of the podcast will be based around what I've been doing in this past month. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit short and, well, not short, but I'm going to try and keep it so it's not too long because I feel like it could go on forever. I've got so much to share. So just a few things of what's been going on for me. My mum had her surgery at the beginning of December. I know a lot of you are probably intrigued onto how that went. It went really well. She's had her surgery done, she's now recovering and she's nearly healed enough to have her chemotherapy, which should start relatively quite soon. So, top things. Moving on forward with positive news for 2017, which is great. The other thing is, over Christmas, in fact Christmas Day, I got engaged. My partner Will proposed to me on Christmas morning, just before we were going to open the presents, and he got down on one knee and asked me basically to marry him. So I am now engaged. So I'm really chuffed. It's quite exciting and it's just, yeah, I'm a bit speechless still about it, but I'm really happy. So other than that, I think I'll get on to some knitting because you guys are like, probably, that's mainly what you are here for, and I can always chat and witter on a little bit later. So I'll start with some finished objects. Oh yeah, the other thing that I wanted to mention as well, I've decided to film this episode in the bedroom. This is where I hoard some of my stash, and hoard the rest of my teddies, which you can see over there. I decided to see what it'd be like to film in here and away from the window, because I find that a lot of the window light throws out the camera recording. So if I slightly move and things in the natural light, it can sometimes blow out the camera. Anyway, whilst I was setting up the camera, I decided to try it here. I'm sat on the bed at the minute. And I decided to have a look at a couple of my projects whilst the camera screen was on, and they were quite true to colour. So even though it's a glary day outside and I've actually got a light above me that's on, they're showing up pretty damn true to colour, and I figured, why not podcast this way then, because it seems more right to do it. So that's why you've got a change of scenery this episode. So in my FOs I have my last two pairs of socks for my box of socks 2016 knit along, which was hosted by Christine of the Volunvine and Yarngasm podcast, and the first pair that were off my needles were my elf socks. So these socks I knit out of a skein of Elf, which was a self-striping yarn by London House Yarns, which is Steph. She has a UK based Etsy shop, and this was one of her Christmas colourways. and I wanted to make these for Christmas Day, and they didn't get made for Christmas Day. I think they got made for the day after Boxing Day, and I wore those for a Christmas meal that we had with friends. I did use a version of sock that I used at the beginning of last year, which was a slightly adapted My Favourite Socks, which is also by Kristen of Full and Fine. Sorry, that little bang was my heater turning off. So this sock pattern is just slightly adapted because I start out with a number of stitches, but then I decrease to a different number. And I also put in an afterthought heel, which was a slightly new to me shaping of afterthought heel, so that's quite enjoyable. I didn't get these done in time because I made a bit of a boob. I basically did the foot of the sock too short, and I realised after I'd done my toe, and I was just about to do my heel, and I decided to measure from this green here to the tip, and I realised, wait a minute, that seems really short. When I put in my heel, that's not going to fit. And yeah, it wasn't going to fit at all. It was like 4 centimetres shorter. So I had to take off the toe, knit 4 centimetres, add on the toe, and redo the heels for both of them. So I got those done over Christmas, and then I also pretty much finished as well. I think on my train home from visiting Will's family, I just was sewing in the ends on these, but I also finished my pixel rise socks. Oh my gosh, that didn't come to me very easily, did it? So these are my pixel rise socks. The yarns are by Lara of the Fawn Knits podcast, Fawn and the Fox Etsy shop, and this is her raven base, which I absolutely loved. It is so squishy and so nice and quite a plump 4-ply, I thought. Just getting a little bit closer, but it's gorgeous. Love all the different colours in Lara's yarn. There's so many tones and depth to them. So this was a mini skein set that I bought from Lara, and it was her Christmas mini set, which was 10 skeins. Both, all of them were 10 gram mini skeins, so it was 100 grams of yarn, and that was in a otter base. Hotter with an H. Otter base. Excuse me. And yeah, I started out with the quite Christmassy colour I could see in the set, which was the Christmas pickle colourway, which I loved. I would love more of this. It was really nice, and I'm not a big green person, but I absolutely love this green. It's amazing. And I carried on up, and I decided to actually kind of slightly plan out my stripes. So I went from green, yellow, blue, pink, kind of pink. There wasn't any other yellows, so then I went into green, blue, pink, pinky, and green, blue, pinky, and then cuff. I think they're super cute, and I love them. The pattern was really easy to follow. The pattern is by Kemper Ray, who has the Junk Yarn podcast and Junk Yarn Yarns. I found this pattern really great. I think what I loved the most about it is the fact that the colour rows also have break rows in the pattern, which is great because you do the coloured rows and then you have break rows, and it's like, wow, I want to do the next colour. And pretty much throughout this entire sock I was adding in about 2 to 3 colours a day. And I absolutely loved doing it. Yeah, I just wanted to keep going. So I think the only thing that I changed about these socks is I did them on the recommended needle size, and I did get gauge roughly. I think I was a centimetre shorter in width than what I should. So when I try these on, the instep is slightly small, and obviously Fair Isle doesn't have a huge amount of give. So I think next time when I do a pair of these again, I might just go up a needle size, only ever so slightly, because that might give me a little bit more here where I need it. But otherwise they fit perfectly and they are wearable and I love them so much. So these are my Christmas Pixel Rise socks. So I really enjoyed finishing those up, and then I felt ever since that I finished those up a little bit like unmotivated with my knitting, to be honest. I felt a little bit I don't know, a bit out of it. I kind of, Christmas Eve I was meant to cast on the Brioche topped thigh high socks, which is this pattern. And this is by, I'm not very good at pronouncing names. Is it Lavanya? Patricia? I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna just pop it down on a bar for you guys. And I was supposed to start these Christmas Eve, but decided to wait because I was wanting to finish these two pairs, really, to be honest. So I decided to have them as my holiday project because I was going away for Boxing Day for a few days. Thought I could cast it on then. I got away and where we were staying with friends. I went to cast on these bad boys and realised that my tension was too small, and although I could have taken all of my needle sets in my needle case because that's what it's made for, I didn't. That needle case is so tiny, I could have taken all of the pairs and it would not have mattered. But I didn't, and I ended up stuck because I couldn't get gauge, so I didn't actually start these. Then for a good week later, basically I got back, I did a sample in the needle size up from what was recommended, still wasn't getting the gauge. I then decided to go up again to another needle size and I got gauge, but I was so deflated about the faffing with gauge and needles that I didn't cast them on. I just felt really fed up. So last week I actually didn't get very much knitting done at all. It was a bad week for me. I also weren't feeling very well. Eventually I decided to cast it on at the beginning of this week, and this is Queen Fibre yarns, and this is also an Etsy store, and this is the Berry Milkshake colourway, and technically the pattern for this is striped in two different colours, and I decided that I wanted mine to be a single colour. So I've got a cake for each sock, and I've casted on the other, but I've only got a small toe. So that's not exactly very exciting, but one of the days, because these are on 3mm needles, one of the days I pretty much did, I'm not gonna lie, most of that, which is exciting because that's most of a foot. So I don't think these will take that long once I get going with them. And today I'm going to do some more on the other toe, since I've got plenty of rest time. Got to take it easy. So that's how those are coming along. And I have been doing my knitting journal as well, which I started, or maker's journal, because I am going to put some of my sewing, I think, in here as well. But I still need to write up some of the notes for my Pixel Rise socks, which aren't very many, but I am going to write in a suggestion of using a bigger needle and things like that for me. So it's my suggestion for me for future. But this is how my pages looked. I've got details of size of needles and things like that here, and yarn. I've got my colour sequence here, and I've got my sock progress, which I just tick off here. 100% done, and I actually blocked these, so I did a tick for that as well, because I wanted to see if the blocking would help the instep get widened. So that's those. And then I started a page for my Brioche thigh-high topped socks. So I've got a little bit of the yarn, the tag, if anybody are interested in seeing that. The yarn is a 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere and 10% nylon, 100 grams, 350 meters, which I think actually I'm going to be slightly short for these socks, but I might introduce at the cuff another colour as a contrast colour just to make it go that little bit further. So that's my plan anyway. So these are for my Little Bobbins Christmas Eve cast on, which I started in the new year. How terrible. I've got project details, a notes section, and again a progress section. And I also got as a present some Moomin washi tape, so that's quite cute. The next project that I really want to start as well is Take Heart by Fiona Alice, which is this gorgeous cabley hat, which is out of one of her books which Pom Pom Press produce. And I'll show you the yarn for that in a minute. So yeah, so that's my only real work in progress that I've been working on as of recent. And before Christmas I was working on the 2 socks, so I haven't really been working on a great deal of projects. The only other thing that I've been working on slightly here and there at the beginning of December was my blanket. I got gifted a lovely advent calendar from my friend Wendy, who is Wendy Runitz on Instagram, and she gifted me an advent calendar for Christmas which had tons of minis, which I got super excited about. I still have quite a fair amount of them to put in here, to be honest, but I love all of the colours that she sent me. So this is one of them, and this one, and this one, and this one, and I think that one was mine. So she sent me those, and I have added in this one, and I'm onto a pink one, and I've kept them in their little envelopes, so I will keep adding them, and eventually I will get there. But my blanket is coming on quite nicely now. I love my blanket. I love it. And to be fair, I have been tempted to cast on, to chain on a crochet blanket, because I do have plenty of scraps as well that are left over from this blanket that I could make one. But I think because I'm not that motivated at the minute, there is absolutely no point in me going crazy and casting on a really large crochet blanket. Especially since all I really want to do is quite plain things, which a blanket would be ideal for, but I've got quite a good blanket here that I can't seem to bring myself to pick up very often. I really need to spend like maybe an evening or something working on it, or a few evenings a week. So the next things that I should probably chat to you about are we'll go on to sewing, because I do have sewing plans. Little Lincoln is like laid just here next to me, and you can't see him, but he looks dead cute. He's been so he's been so affectionate recently. He's been sitting on my knee on evenings, and I think it's because he likes the blanket that I have on my lap, and he's been settling down on my knees, which he never does, so I feel like we've bonded more recently. It's only taken 4 years for us to bond more. Bless him. Anyway, I am going to be making a simple sew pattern, and I'm going to be making this wiggle skirt. I was going to be making this version, which is a tie-waisted version, but my fabric wasn't wide enough, and this skirt is literally done in one piece except for the back seam, and the bow. But my fabric wasn't a wide enough fabric. So I've had to go with this one, which has seams, and I'm not sure if I pattern matched it properly, to be honest, but I'm not going to be bothered. I'm still going to wear it because I've made it. But this is going to be done in, if I can show you, because they're all like with their pattern pieces, but I've got this tartan to go with this. So this is going to be my main body fabric, and then I'm adding the bow from this other skirt onto this because it's fairly simple. Basically you have the pattern pieces from this anyway, and you're just sewing it into the zip. I've had a look at the instructions, so I'm going to add that bow onto the back of this skirt, but I'm going to add this bow in a black, so I also have the fabric for that. He's getting into my bits and pieces that I want to show you guys. So I'm basically making this but with a bow, and I'm going to have the bow in a contrast black. So this is going to be really exciting because I love this. I've loved this pattern since it ever came out in the first Love Sewing issue that they ever did. And then recently they must have had some extra copies of this printed pattern, and they re-put it in a later issue, and I managed to get a copy of it. So I got really excited. So I'm gonna make that, and I can't wait. I love vintagey style things. I tend to wear them more when I go out and I get dressed up, because usually on a day-to-day basis I'm at work and I just throw on things that are comfortable. But I'm really excited because this is the start of a me-made garment or outfit, because the Skulls tunic that I made, the dress, also comes as a top version. So I'm going to get some black viscose fabric and make myself the top to go with the skirt. And I also have found the perfect pattern. I wanted to make last year a black staple cardigan. I only have one and it's a store-bought one. I really wanted to make my own, and I saw this pattern released, got really excited about it, and then one of you podcast viewers kindly gifted me it as a present just before Christmas, so I was able to buy some yarn for it, and this is going to be the cardigan that makes the entire outfit an outfit. So I'm really excited because I'm going to be casting on the Wainthrope cardigan by Andy Sutherland. I love her patterns, but this one just called out to me even more than any of the others. You know, when there's a pattern that screams to you that you need that in your life, this is the one. And I think I even have some little, I bought some vintage brown and cream buttons last year in a antique shop, and I have one extra to what she's used on here, so I can actually add those to this cardigan, which makes me more even excited. I'm thrilled. So I'm really giddy about this, and I also know there's a lot of ands to this. I have my stockings as well, some grey stockings that I was knitting maybe about 2 or 3 years ago now. I've not got very far on those, and now I'm thinking that maybe I should, because I could add those to my outfit as well. So I'm really giddy about this outfit this year, and I plan to make it happen. I can't wait. So I have bought yarn for that project, which I'll be showing you in a little while. And then maybe I should go on to some form of acquisitions, because I have got a ton to share with you. I'm not gonna lie, it is a ton. So I'll share with you something that was sent to me by a maker and viewer of the podcast. She kindly gifted us a selection of things for a future knit along. So Miriam, hello, of mycraftydream.etsy.com has sent us a selection of things. She also kindly said that I could choose a bag and 2 sets of stitch markers for myself, which was so sweet. So what I've chosen for me is, I feel like this is Christmassy, so I'm gonna probably save this for next year, but I snagged a Christmassy themed project bag, and I love the size of the smaller bags. They're so easy to carry around, like a soccer project or whatever, so I'm gonna save that for next year. That can be for my little Bobbins Knits Christmas Eve cast on 2017. I'm already prepared for this, by the way. How bad is that? That I've already got my next year's Little Bobbins Christmas Eve cast on planned. And I also chose some little cat stitch markers that she sent me. And these beautiful green, I think they're like a clay, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So I love these. So I will be saving those ones for me. But she also sent quite a number of things for you guys as well. So there's a few teas which I've decided to save to go with the stitch markers. But she sent us these, which I thought are really lovely. So you've got a guitar, an elephant, a musical note, some more of the flower stitch markers, which I think are gorgeous. And then also two different size project bags. So we've got one with cute little owls on. I'd say this was a sock sized one, and this is so sweet. I love these owls. And this also has a little marker as well, which is handmade, and it's got a little hand on it. I love that. And then she also sent us this bigger sized project bag, which is also just as beautiful. And I'm not sure what knit along I'm going to add these into, but obviously it will be something in the near future. So thank you, Miriam, for sending those to us, and I will make sure that they get put in a knit along for everybody to participate in the near future, which I have been thinking about another knit along. Thoughts are running in my mind. The other things that I had received, I got a really surprise package from Debbie, Debbie Reese Designs, and in fact everybody probably knows Debbie from being one half of the Periscoping Sisters. Hello! I didn't even know Debbie knew my address, but she must have sneakily got it from somewhere and sent me such a lovely package, which was a huge surprise. She sent me a few things, but she sent me a DPN cozy, which is absolutely adorable, and it's so soft. So I love this, thank you so much. And she also sent me a project bag, which is so Christmassy themed. Look how beautiful it is, and look at this bird and this lady, they're so pretty. I absolutely love this bag, and I know Christmas isn't around anymore, but this might get thrown out whenever I feel like it needs to be thrown out. Christmas in July, people. I'm gonna be getting my bag out. Anyway, thank you so much, Debbie, because this was such a sweet gift. She'd sent me a little letter as well, and it was such a nice, like, heartwarming little card and whatnot. So thank you so much, because I wasn't expecting that, and it made me smile, and it's so beautiful what you've made for me, and it was very unexpected, and I just want to say thank you. I know that everybody's probably got lots of Christmas acquisitions, and I've got a few. and I've got a few other bits that aren't Christmas acquisitions. But before I go into all of that, I did treat myself to a project bag from Erica Schmerica Designs on Etsy. I think she's called that on Instagram. And I got this Crystal Lake, Camp Crystal Lake, Jason Friday the 13th bag, which I got really excited about. I saw this on, is it Carol of Javierland? I saw her post this up and was like, I need that in my life. So I managed to snag a pre-order of the bag. Oh yeah, here we go, look. She's got a tag. So I loved this. Her bags are really nicely, reasonably priced. Her postage was really good, and in fact she actually refunded me some postage, which you don't get very often. So she does other themed bags as well, and it's very much worth a look of going to check out her Etsy store. And this has also an uber cool Jason lining, which I absolutely love. So this is one of those project bags that you can fit on your wrist and carry around with you with your yarn inside. Also, I think they're quite nice for on the couch. I've had mine by the side of me with my cake in, and I've been knitting from it, and it's just perfect. Or cinema bag for when you're at the movies. But I wanted to share that with you because I think it's totally ace, and I do love Friday the 13th. It's one of my favourite horror Halloween themed movies. I have quite a few though, to be honest. So I'm going to admit, before I share any of this with you, that there should be a warning here that says, like, I've shopped too much. I've not seen you guys in a month, but this amount of yarn that I'm going to share with you is probably like a good like half a year's worth of yarn or something. Anyway, basically I enjoyed myself through December, and I also acquired a few bits of yarn from others and things like that, but this bag of yarn came into my life, and I'm gonna share it all with you. You see, I don't have a problem, guys. I'm just joining in with the wool piggery with everybody else. So, some of this I've purchased, some of it I have received. There's Christmas gifts and things like that. I acquired a ball of yarn from work as well, which was quite nice. What to share with you first? Basically, I'll take some of this out 1 second. Basically, I bought all of this in one order. So this was a treat because there was a lot of sale, quite a big ample sale on Wool Warehouse, and I think all of this yarn cost me about £30. But I bought some of this zigzag Spring Meadow colourway because I'd seen Danny of Little Bobbins knitting some socks in this, and it knits up beautiful, and I love colourful yarn, so I decided to treat myself to this. So this is King Cole Zigzag. I then also, I wanted a sweater quantity for my Wainthrope cardigan, and like I said, I wanted it in black. So I picked up some Drops Lima, which is a wool alpaca blend, and I've knitted with this before. It knits up really nice. It also wears really well. I've not seen any pilling on any of the hats or mittens even that I've knitted for my partner. In fact, they have worn really nicely. So I got some Drops Lima in black, which I can't wait to knit with because it's so soft and squishy. I then got a little bit excited because they have the same yarn in a 4-ply version, which is called Flora. So there is a sweater that I'm planning to make in the future, which is in one of the, I think it was last year's autumn edition of Pom Pom Quarterly. It's like a striped cardigan, striped sweater. It's really quite cute, and I decided to get these 3. So this is colour 7, and it's like a beige colour. This is colour 11. It's like, I think this one's called Petrol. And then I got colour 19, which I think is Coral. So the main body of the sweater will be, like the background colour will be in the beige. The main stripes of the sweater will be in the coral. And then there's some detail on the cuffs and the neckband and across the shoulders. And that will be done in the blue. I think it'll be dead cute. So that's like 2 sweater garments that's for future knitting. And whilst I was ordering those, I also decided that I really liked this colour so much that I needed it in my life, and this is what I'm going to be doing my Take Heart hat in. And it's like a heathery purpley grey, and it's dead cute. It's like a lilac-y, it's got like hints of pinky purpley grey, I'd say, but what I really like about it is that it's so cute. And I think a grey, like this kind of grey Toffs alpaca pom-pom on the top, that would be adorable. So that's why I'm planning for this. So I'm super excited, and this is Drops Alaska, and it's their wool classic, so it's 100% wool. And it is a Aran weight, so it's done on 5mm needles. And this is super soft as well. It feels really nice. It doesn't feel scratchy at all. So I bet this will wash up lovely. So that's what I bought in my wool warehouse order. I got super excited when that arrived. I then went into Leeds to do a bit of Christmas shopping, and I went into the new Victoria Gate Centre, which is a new building at the bottom end of Leeds that now has a John Lewis. The haberdashery section in this John Lewis sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I have been to the Manchester John Lewis in their can't remember the shopping centre name, Trafford. Huge, and their haberdashery section is really full and heaving with things. Well, apparently, I've overheard in the grapevine that the director of John Lewis doesn't think that the haberdashery section is worth it anymore, which is why we don't have an amazing one. There was no fabric for sewing, dressmaking or anything, which I've heard others do have. There was curtain making fabrics, loads of upholstery fabrics, but that's not what I wanted. And they did have a small knitting section with sewing supplies, but no fabric. I just found it so strange, and I feel really guilty for talking like this about a place, but anyway, their stands were so far and few between that I feel like they could have been a little bit closer, and a lot of fabric could have been added in there. They just didn't. It's like they didn't bother. However, what I am going to say is that some of the yarns they had were good, because they had Bergeret de France, which I like Bergeret de France, and my local shop used to sell it, and apparently at some point last year they were going through a bit of a possible close down, which was quite scary for them, but they seem to be still around, so they must have had somebody buy into the business or something. So our local shop stopped selling them, but John Lewis had them, and they had gumi in, which I have never seen in the wild. Lots of people have knitted the gumi, and a lot of people have knitted the chartreusey green, which I absolutely love, and I want some of that in the future. But I snagged myself 2 skeins of this because it was so cute and wintry looking. It reminded me of ice and snow. But they only had two balls left of this out of all the other colours. This was in one of the little square boxes, just 2 of them laid on their own. So I snagged it because I thought it was super cute. And they're Garvey socks for this year. How adorable are they? So I treated myself to those because, you know, if you can't find Christmas presents, then treat yourself to something. And that's what I did. Other few things that I bought myself were, I don't know if I shared this with you or not, but I got a skein of Honeydukes, which is London House yarns. And it's like pinks, light greens and dark greens, and this was so adorable that I could not have this in my life. And I think one of the stripes is also slightly speckly, and this will be perfect for Katie of the Inside 23. I know she's doing a all year Harry Potter knit along, yay, so I can use this. And she's also doing an Andy Satterland knit along as well, so I can join in with my new cardigan that I'm going to be making. I then, God, I feel like I need to breathe, there's so much yarn. I then received a parcel that I'd been waiting for by Query Fibre. I'd won in a Knitters Pay It Forward post. I had won a skein of yarn, which turned out to be 2 skeins. And she hand dyed these specifically for the event itself. I got this gorgeous grey and this gorgeous tonal green, and I'm not sure what these are going to be yet, to be honest, but these are both on her 70% superwash merino, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, and there's 437 yards to 100 grams. I'm not sure what that is in meters, but it's quite a lot. I think it's like 400 meters. So I've got 2 skeins, so some point in the future these need to be something, but I suppose until I figure out, I can just stash them. So I got those 2, and then one of our managers at work was sorting out a few things from her office, and there was some extra yarns in her office that she wanted clearing out, and let us have a little sift through, and I found some Regia. This is colour 3760, and I think it's like a garden something colourway, and it's an Arnie and Carlos special edition colour, and to me this yarn is green and red. It smells it smells it smells Christmas, or smells Christmas. So this is possibly Garvey, my little bobbins, and it's cast on for next year, which is what I was on about. And then the last acquisition, yarn acquisition, up to recent, was gifted to me by Will's dad for Christmas. Man, he got it spot on. So his dad paid extra attention to me just before Christmas, and that I'd been looking at some Hedgehog Fibres yarn that was on sale, and I was really excited, and I was really tempted to get myself a skein, but if I did, I couldn't buy this whole bag of yarn. So I decided not to, and I decided to be really restrained, but because he knew I was getting excited over it, he came and had a look at my computer, and I was explaining that it's quite expensive sock yarn, but it's really nice and it's beautiful, and the colours that are hand dyed by this company are amazing. And I was like, and all of these pinks, and there was a good like 7 different pink shades, I was like, I just love all of these and would knit with all of them. He took that on board. He actually took on the name of the brand, the website, everything on board, and bought me a skein for Christmas, which was really, I was quite shocked and giddy because I didn't realise that he'd done this. And he bought me a skein of the granny colourway. Look at how gorgeous that is. I love this. It's like blush, foundation-y, makeup-y tones, and I love it. Like there's like beiges and browns, slight greys, blush tones, foundation-y looking tones. He's bought me this so that I can make some fancy socks with. But I keep looking at this and thinking shawl, and I don't know why. But isn't this gorgeous? And in fact, I actually messaged Danny of Little Bobbins today saying this skein reminds me so much of her. It does. It's totally her kind of colours. But he gets mega dad-in-law points for this. I absolutely love it. So we'll have to see what the future brings for this yarn, because I don't know if I want to use it for socks. It's so nice. Maybe a shawl would be really pretty. We'll see. So that's my yarn acquisitions. And then over Christmas you get the occasional, well, usually I don't get any knitting presents usually for Christmas. I get the occasional one maybe. This Christmas I got 4, so I got the skein of yarn, and I also received this from a lady that I work with. She's gotten really into sewing and quilting and things, and she made me this project bag. She saw the fabric at a show with cats and wool on and knew that it was me and decided she wanted to make me a project bag. How bloody adorable is this? And it's the perfect size for a sock project. So when I went away, and that's just the lining fabric. When I went away, I put both my Pixel Rise and my elf socks in there to finish up with the yarn left that I needed, and they both squished in there quite nicely. But how cute! And I've put my little moomin in, which was a stitch marker I got from Love by Little Maps. I think this is so darn sweet. So I got quite excited over this project bag because it's definitely me. Then I got a couple of other gifts from Will's mum. I got the knitting colouring book, which I have never seen this. I have no idea where she found this, but oh my god guys, a knitting colouring book. I've been needing some relaxing time, obviously, so this at some point it is going to get delved into. It says that it's by Helen Sharp, so they are just basically pictures of knitting, stitches for you to colour in whatever colours you want. And further on there's also graphs so you could do some of your own. Further on there is also garments. I love this. I got a bit excited about the garments because like there's stuff with yolks on them, and which I find really cute, quite quirky looking. Look at these grandad sweaters, tunics, mittens. Look at those mittens, aren't they? They're stinking cute. I just love all of this. And then people wearing garments to colour in. I love this. I can't wait to get my colouring pencils out and colour in it. I kind of don't want to ruin it, which is bad. I need to just actually delve into that with some pencils and just have some fun. And then a lot of people have been sharing this book on Instagram, and I kind of fell in love with it and I really wanted it. And I also saw Hilary Grant at a show, Christmas market that was local to me at the Hepworth Museum, Hepworth Art Gallery. she was actually there selling her knitwear, but not the book. So I saw a lot of her stuff on her stand, and it's gorgeous. So I got really excited that I got this, but I kind of think that at the time I didn't show how excited I was, but I am, because I really love this book. The photography, everything is amazing. They've got really nice instructions how to graft and mattress stitch, how to block as well, double knitting, which I've not actually done any double knitting, which I'm quite tempted to have a go at. But some of the projects in this book are astounding. I love this cowl. I love this mittens. I love it all. I love this hat. I need this hat because it reminds me of Wes Anderson and Life Aquatic. I really want this hat so bad. But everything in here I love. Just everything. The photography, she mainly bought it because she loved the photography herself. She takes a lot of photographs out and about, and she said that the photographs were so amazing she wanted me to have it mainly for that. And even the filler pages have beautiful photography in. I know a lot of people have already got this book, but if you haven't, I would say go and treat yourself, because it is amazing. And I think what is one of the really great things about this book as well, I thought it was really great, is that they use the same yarn throughout the entire book. It's not an overly expensive yarn, and a lot of the projects are like 2 or 3 balls here and there, or single balls of each colour. So it's not like you're breaking the bank balance to knit any of them. But throughout the entire book they have used Jameson's Shetland Spindrift, which I used last year for a cowl. So I still have some of the Shetland Spindrift left, the yellow, and I do have two almost full balls in my stash, and I found some vintage 4-ply wool as well, and I'm thinking this might make a project out of here. I'm planning. I have been looking at a project in particular, mainly because I don't have any gloves anymore. I have mittens, but I like to have my fingers free a lot for if I'm messaging or I'm getting anything out of my pockets, or if I'm shopping at the supermarket on my way home. Fingerless mittens are just ideal for me, really. So I've been looking at these because I think they're sweet. You see that? So they're like flip top convertible mittens. I love this triangle detail and the contrast cuff. I think it's really sweet. So I am debating making those with that yarn, but like I say, I'm debating at the minute. But I know that this yarn is readily available to me at possibly Bar Amu in Leeds and Spun Yarn Shop in Huddersfield. So I think I will be going over there and having a look at some colours. I would really like some beige and corally kind of coloured items in my wardrobe. Corals and pinks are something that I find eye-catching, so I think I should put that into my knitting, especially colourwork knitting. But this book is astounding, and if you haven't looked at it, it's totally worth getting. I know that a lot of people have bought it and have been looking through it and have given it top marks on prettiness, and the projects just look so appealing. And recently with me doing colour work, so my Pixel Rise socks and my Ask Love hat, I kind of feel like I can do this. So I'm a little bit more excited about colour work, and so this is totally worthwhile getting. She does have a website where you can buy this for $16.99, but I have heard it's actually a little bit cheaper as well on Amazon if you wanted to get yourself a copy. So yeah, that's everything I acquired over Christmas. I also got something sent to me that is for a giveaway, but I can't announce that yet because it's for a 1,500 subscribers giveaway, which hasn't been initiated yet because I am about 7 people off of 1,500 subscribers. So once that happens, on my next podcast, I may be showing what I have received, which I am super looking forward to sharing with you guys. It's so cool. You guys are gonna love it. So if you are a new viewer and you love what you see and you are enjoying the podcast and would like to keep up with what's going on with Killtocraft, then please do subscribe and follow us as well on the Ravelry group. I have also started a new thread in the Ravelry group, so if you haven't been over there you could check that out, and it's basically just a what are you knitting thread. I wanted to start a little bit of chatting between us all about what we are making on a general basis, because I think a lot of the time we join in knit-alongs but we still don't have the time to fully always immerse and converse. But I thought it was nice to find a thread that we could go on and get to know each other on the forum itself, and get to know each of you and what you are making and what you are creating, what are your goals or ideas, what you're playing around with in your head as future knitting plans. And I thought it was just nice to start up a topic of generalised conversation and getting to know and making a bit more of a community thread basically in my Ravelry group. So if you do want to share what you're creating, please come over and join in. I popped up about my socks yesterday and we've just been chatting amongst ourselves, a few of us, so it'd be lovely to have more of you come in and share your makes. So shall we talk about Christmas? Because Christmas happened and I totally weren't around to say anything near the Christmas period. But around Christmas I'd been quite down and out, and I wasn't quite 100% excited about Christmas with my mum not being well. I even got a bit upset on Christmas Eve because I wasn't looking forward to the Christmas day itself, which is strange because I absolutely love Christmas. Every year I am really into Christmas. I think just with what's been happening recently, I just weren't as interested as I could have been. But basically, I had no idea that on Christmas Day I was going to get engaged. So on Christmas Eve I was actually saying that I wasn't really looking forward to it, and Will kept saying to me, you're going to have a great day, you're just thinking a bit more negative than usual, just try and relax and you'll have a really great day. And I was like, yeah, we'll see, kind of feeling. I had no idea that Christmas morning he was going to pop the question, which was so sweet, and I bet he was absolutely bricking it because of how I'd been the previous night before. But yeah, Christmas was a hard one for me, but it ended up being really lovely. So the proposal had happened, we then opened our presents. I rang my mum and dad to see if my mum was up already, and she wasn't, so I couldn't actually give the news to my dad without my mum being up and about, so I had to just say Merry Christmas and keep the news to myself until we went over in the afternoon. And then we had Christmas dinner, which my dad had been making. He'd gotten himself a bit flustered actually, and we think he had a drop in blood pressure. He started to get really too hot and feel sickly, so he went for a lie down and we ate our Christmas dinner without him, which was really bad. I gave him my my Christmas sweater that I made him with all the cables, that I did earlier on in the year. That was a showstopper, and he absolutely loved it. The smile on his face when he was trying it on was just... I felt so proud, because when he tried it on it fit perfect and he loved it. So I was really chuffed about that. It took a lot of work, but it was worth every second. So we had our Christmas dinner, and then all we did was relax with films, and we had a laugh and giggled, and it ended up being a really nice, just generally relaxed Christmas day. There was a few sentimental tears at the beginning of the afternoon when we first arrived and we were handing out presents and things, but I have to say that wasn't all that bad in the end, and it passed quite quickly, so it was actually generally quite nice. The only thing that I missed was the fact that I didn't get to see my nan or my auntie and uncles, because they usually visit on Christmas Day and they didn't this year. So that was a little bit weird for me. I was hoping to be able to dish out my presents to the rest of the family. And then we returned home a little bit later on in the evening, because we stayed a little bit later at my mum and dad's, because I decided I wanted to get a bath. Which, we only have a shower here, so a bath was like a really nice Christmas Day treat for me. So I snagged it while I could and got myself a nice cosy bath and came home. And then on the Boxing Day we went away to visit his family down south near Kettering area, and we stayed with friends. We had a Boxing Day buffet party where we had like quiz games and things, and then the following day was just a really relaxed day. It was freezing, I remember that. I was wrapped up in anything possible, blankets, all sorts. We had the fire on, it was just cold. And then on the evening we went over to a friend's house where they'd been cooking like a Christmas dinner for the friends, and there was a good, I think about 15 of us. That dinner was amazing, I really enjoyed it, and the company was lovely, and we gave out our Secret Santa presents. It was dead nice. And then the following day was just a day of relaxing and me coming home. So yeah, and then I spent the next 4 days a little bit exhausted, I think. Exhausted, tired, and unmotivated. A little bit broken maybe, because my hip was really kind of nagging at me as well at that point. So it was a long week, but I had a lovely week, and my Christmas turned out really nice, so that's good. New Year's, Will was still away with his family. I didn't do anything too exciting. I think I put on a Harry Potter film. I think I put on the first of the Deathly Hallows part 1 films on, and I just sat with the toe of my Brioche socks casting that on. I only got the toe finished by the end of the evening, so I didn't really do a great deal, to be honest. I sat most of that film gawping at the screen, not doing much. This is how like lazy I've been. I've been a bit like a sedated mess. My brain has just been in shutdown mode. But yeah, I've had a really nice holiday. Will came back on New Year's Day. His dad stayed for a few hours, had a cup of tea with us, and then he went, because he was working in Leeds, so he went and settled into his hotel for the evening. And me and Will just relaxed. We didn't have dinner that night because we both had massive lunches, and we just chilled out and packed away a lot of his Christmas presents and things, with him returning all that needed sorting out and washing. And so yeah, a busy day. And then this week it's just been back to work, so it's just been an ordinary week. Apart from my hip hurting me a lot, it's just been pretty darn ordinary. So top stuff. I'm going to get going, I think, because it's been a long bit of nattering, and it's going to take ages to edit and process this. Well, not really edit, but to process it, it's going to take hours. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I hope you've enjoyed the episode, because I know it's been well long overdue, and I hope to do another podcast sooner rather than later. I do apologise for how long it has been.